team's strengths and weaknesses are going to be. Speaking of their strengths and weaknesses, I was going to mention Covino on Sombra was a big strength for SereNity last week, particularly as well as that. 4 balls on the Zenyatta. Now, there has been those roster changes for SereNity. Spinder has left, and I think that means that 4 balls is now core on that roster. We'll be taking away the Zenyatta role, which we saw him excelling in last week. Hopefully, that's going to be good for SereNity. I certainly think that he did perform well, so maybe it's going to be something here for them. But Dark-Sided, of course, starting off with Termo on the Pharah, as you would expect here on the first point of Nepal. He does get the first pick there as well. Oh, and there's 2 graphics almost getting demeched, and Termo going to get healed up. It's really, for me, who is more useful? Is it a Pharah or is it a Sombra? And for now, it looks to me like maybe this Pharah's got the better of it. Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm not so sure about the Sombra choice here for SereNity on this point. I mean, yes, Covino was a good Sombra last week, but I don't think you're going to be able to have the impact that the Pharah is going to. However, as I say that, the respawns have started to come back in for SereNity. They're putting a little bit of pressure on Dark-Sided, so we're just going to have to hope to see Termo do a bit of work here, deny any sort of a cap pressure for SereNity, but he's under a lot of pressure himself, has to back out, and in fact will be chased down by Nox. Both of the DPSs there for SereNity doing some good work, and well, I was questioning Covino, but he's come up and answered the call pretty well. Yeah. 90% on that EMP. 90% on the EMP. We saw that the barrage came up as well for Termo. So, I don't know, was that just a matter of the respawns coming through at the right time then? Just as the guys from Dark-Sided was starting to fall down. I actually kind of think it was, but we'll talk about that in a second as another fight is going to be starting out here. Dark-Sided, they're utilizing a lot of their ultimates. Rocket Barrage and the Pulse Bomb do come out. They're not really gathering too much damage with those. SereNity seem to be doing a fairly decent job of holding on to this one. Molotov almost going down, still alive for now. We've seen that the D.Va's been picked up and Nox is out of it. The hack comes through, makes Pharah far less useful these days. Covino going to want to try and pick up a health pack here. One conveniently prepared for earlier. Indeed, but that flip has still not come into effect right now for Dark-Sided. SereNity are doing a good job of just keeping Dark-Sided busy. They're not having a confident enough teamfight win. Oh, Covino, that's a big pick as well onto graphics. Mooney goes flying off the edge. Everything's going wrong right now for Dark-Sided. SereNity really putting them under the pump. Yeah, it's all falling apart here for who we would say were the favorites coming into this. It's obviously only starting right now, but this is a top start. Dark-Sided, yes, do have a number of ultimates ready to go, but at 70%, Jordan, they're going to have to use them soon. Yeah, they certainly are, but this very much should be a fight one for Dark-Sided with all of these ultimates available. USMC starts off with the kill onto Mini. There is Mooney being traded out. Mini and Mooney, that's going to be fun to pronounce throughout the rest of this cast. Self-destruct now comes out. Doesn't manage to connect with anything. Dark-Sided still not getting that confident team fight win that they need. And Nox with the Pulse Bomb trading things back. SereNity, again, doing an excellent job of just holding off Dark-Sided. Certainly are. Covino trying to hack this one out. EMP is ready. There we go. We see that coming through. Termo does manage to find that frag. It's ticking away 99%. They're contesting right now, but it's been very difficult here for Dark-Side to try and bring this one back. Pulse Bomb almost up here for Nox. Can he make something happen? Throws it out onto Termo. That one's not going to connect. Termo just jumping up into the air. It's going to be okay. And Nox does go down, so now we might finally see a flip in the favor of Dark-Sided. However, they're still being made to fight for it. SereNity should eventually go down here, inevitably. There are far too few players there to contest. They don't necessarily need to contest too hard. They get up to 99% before the flip comes across for Dark-Sided. That's an excellent start to the map now for SereNity, but they need to make sure that they can close this one out. Yeah, well, you get to 99%. You would like to think that from there, you can farm up your ultimates, push in at the same time, and get through to that 100%. They have plenty of time to work with. Termo trying to push through and farm up his own ultimate here, doing a fair bit of damage in the process, and they're going to have to come back through and stop this cap, which I'm sure they will. Yeah, the trouble, though, is for SereNity. They were fighting on the point beforehand, which nullifies a lot of the effectiveness of the Pharah. Now, they're not necessarily fighting on the point just as much, so Pharah able to do a lot more work, but SereNity is still finding a way to make this one happen. Sound barrier does come out. EMP now as well there for Covino and tough, Transcendence. Jordan. It definitely is looking tough. The flip comes across. SereNity, they've capped it across, and now Dark-Sided are going to need to be the ones trickling in onto the point. This will definitely favor SereNity. Dark-Sided trying to keep it alive. You can see Termo coming out with the barrage, but goes down to Nox.
Oh my goodness, this could be it. SereNity may grab this point. They're looking very, very strong. They have the players on the point. Well done.
Yeah, I did not expect to be seeing that one come out, and that actually looked really easy for SereNity. Every single fight pretty much went their way, barring the one that we saw Darkside come in with their full ultimates available. I mean, that was just really kind of surprising.
It was kind of surprising.
Okay, it's only one round.
It is
right?
only one
Let's
round,
not
but
get too far ahead of
that is
ourselves.
the start that we want. We saw this start a couple of times last week, and then unfortunately, that was it. That was like the one good portion of that team's gameplay. Yep. I really hope that that is not the case here for SereNity. I would love to see them come through and really push Darksided here and have this a very even battle.
I almost feel as if Termo maybe should have swapped off the Pharah. He did have a lot of impact early on in that first fight, but it didn't seem to be having as much of an impact as the game went on. However, we're on to our second round, and it is going to be the Orisa Roadhog composition from both sides. There is a Junkrat, though, for SereNity, and that's already being put to good work as Cavino finds USMC. No res available just yet there for Swilko, though. He does get that, and Arceus does go down. So right now, player advantage. Not anymore. Both the reses have come across, so it is still 6 versus 6.
Yeah, one res apiece. It's really a question of, for me, again, is this Pharah better than the alternative? And Cavino, I don't know, I do quite like the Junkrat. Far less useful, unfortunately, when you've been picked up. USMC pushes through, takes out Nox. That'll also help. Darkside are going to take the point here and push on up to that very first room, trying to push them back.
I mean, I'd probably like to see Cavino swapping off here onto the Sombra, if I'm honest. However, he's at 64% of his ultimate, so probably wants to at least get one Riptire off here so that he can utilize all that ulti charge that he did get in the first fight. Not the worst of decisions here for SereNity, though. Let's see how it does work out. They are having quite a significant amount of troubles with Termo. That must be mentioned. Nox going down like that makes life incredibly difficult. Rocket Barrage surely coming in here for Termo. Perfect timing. Cavino and Fluoro Ash do go down to that, and that's easy done. A good hold for Darksided. Termo coming up with the goods.
Certainly did. We can see USMC, Mooney, and Molotov now ready with ultimates. That's, look to me, another 25% there that they can potentially hold as well.
Cavino has swapped off onto the Sombra. Nox getting off the Soldier as well, onto Tracer. Now, Nox was very effective on Tracer in the last round, but what that means is they don't have a Soldier. Of course, there's no McCree here for SereNity. It will be quite difficult to deal with Termo.
Yeah, it can be a real pain when you don't have that DPS that can pick them off. We'll see what Nox can do here, following them in, fighting it out on the site. Mooney takes a bit of damage, might be able to drop someone off. He will. Arceus goes down. USMC getting to hold all the way back here with attack fires of Jordan. That's how we like to see our soldiers played, and every time that's the case, they do a ton of damage. Darksided continues to hold this point. 73% is where we see them, and by the looks of things, that ult advantage as well, this is going to be difficult for SereNity to get back now. Yeah,
I kind of feel like this adaptation from SereNity has come in a little bit too late, because now they're going to be having to push in for this final push without any ultimates even close to coming up. Maybe Cavino can get one, maybe Nox can get one off in this fight if it takes a long time, but they probably should have swapped off one fight earlier so that they would have ultis available for this one. Termo gets dropped low. Cavino looking for someone to kill, but he's not really getting too much luck at this point. Down to 12 HP, has to translocate out. And in the meanwhile, we just see Darksided wiping the floor with SereNity.
Yeah, really struggling with Termo, to be perfectly honest. And we're going to hit 99%. That overtime ticks away. And Darksided will 100% to 0 pick up this portion of the map. One round remains, and
it's a bit of a statement, isn't it, really, from Darksided there. They said, okay, you kind of had your fun in that first round, but now
what
we're
do you think about
100-0ing you.
These teams taking a little while, taking just one round to warm up?
I kind of think it just sort of started off poorly, really, for Darksided, and they could never really get the ball rolling in that first round. It always seemed like they were a little bit behind on the ult economy. They were trickling in a little bit. SereNity had the better positioning. If, for example, Darksided would have started off with that first fight win, I kind of feel like they would have held on to that point and 100-0'd again in that first round. But I mean, maybe
they won the first fight, but then it just trickled back through.
It was
right?
it was a very prolonged fight.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I mean, they kind of won the first part of it, but I feel like they inevitably ended up losing it. And obviously, SereNity got the first cap across. Let's see if SereNity, though, can challenge this third point and really solidify the potential to actually contest in this series. Or maybe that first round was just a bit of a fluke.
Termo out here on the Genji. Want to see how this one plays out for him. Right now, just holding back. We can see Mini only one going down so far. Graphics very close. Mooney's been picked up as well. That's one tank apiece going down here. The point is now unlocked, and USMC about to be ready with his Pulse Bomb.
Yeah, very, very quick Pulse Bomb charge there out from USMC. Can he get anything done with it? No. But doesn't really matter too much at the end of the day, as Dark started very, very confidently securing that first team fight. SereNity need to be doing better than that. Nox is coming up off the ultimate. Covino as well very shortly. So there is the opportunity here for SereNity definitely to contest this point. But Darksided are going to be getting some stuff up for free. Positioning as well. They're going to be feeling confident right now.
They certainly will. In terms of ultimates, Darkseid looking much better, about to tick over a couple right now, and you'd like to think they should be able to pick up this fight. They've had some good positioning, and Baubles goes down straight away. Turmo now ready with this Dragon Blade, but the EMP will come out, slow them down, but it won't win them the fight, Jordan.
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that usage of the EMP from Covino. They had already lost player in that one, and it did look like the fight was very, very convincingly going to go the way of Darksided. It was a Hail Mary, I feel like, from Covino there.
Yeah.
It was, I really don't think it was ever going to work out, to be honest, for SereNity there. So I think he probably should have just held on to it, utilized it as the initiate for SereNity in a fight. Then that's maybe where they can win, not as a sort of try to pull them back into the fight. Now we can see the flank coming out from USMC, forces the Transcendence early. Still Pulse Bomb available here. He'll wait for that Transcendence to disappear and probably pop it onto this D.Va. No, he's just going to wait for the D-Mech with that self-destruct. Turmo finding the first kill of the fight. Arceus at least able to trade one back, and Nox gets another. So maybe, just maybe, SereNity can find their way back into this.
Yeah, that was actually not too bad coming out for SereNity. It felt like Darksided were using theirs in comparison, one at a time, but you can see here that SereNity now starting to fall apart. USMC doing a ton of work in the meantime, getting damage across the board, maybe not picking up those final hits, but still making a huge impact in that fight, and this now is almost at a point of no return for SereNity.
Well, are they going to be even able to get the overtime secured? They should be able to. We can see Arceus is close by on the D.Va and gets in there just on the 99 tick, but overtime is probably going to be the least of problems right now for SereNity. They need to win a team fight, having already dropped. Oh no, two players go down to USMC. You can say goodbye to map number one, SereNity, unless this Pulse Bomb goes up big, which it does not. Darksided should be securing this one.
Waiting. There we go. There we go. That was really interesting from Darksided in that second to last fight there, Jordan. We saw that the ultimates were coming out from SereNity, and Darkseid they were waiting, holding the exact same ulti with similar team comps. You use a Transcendence, we'll use a Transcendence. You come out with Sound Barrier, we'll use a Sound Barrier. It almost didn't work out for them though.
No, I mean, SereNity was at least contesting that, but like it was 200 to zeros really from Darksided when you kind of completely look at it. Even though SereNity, they won that first round, they just couldn't really get anything done in round number 2 and round number 3.
Well, it happened last week like 2 or 3 times where one team picked up the first round on control and then lost the next 2. We're like, oh, maybe. And then it didn't happen.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. But at least it shows us that they're capable of taking out rounds, maybe now taking out maps.
Well, the key is going to be for SereNity getting those early advantages and snowballing off the back of them. That's what they got in that first round. They got the early team fight win. They got the first cap. They were fighting where they wanted to fight. They didn't allow the Pharah to do as much work as it otherwise could have. That gave a little bit of an advantage to SereNity there. So they need to pick the battles that they want, which isn't necessarily what they did in round number 2 and round number 3. So hopefully they're going to be able to do that maybe on Hollywood or Numbani, depending on which one we do get to.
Yeah, so it's really going to come down to, I suppose, how they're going to play these ones out. Are they more comfortable, perhaps, on some of these maps that are less brawly or more brawly? They seemed good at the start, slowed down at the end. And I think, to be fair, getting 100% to 0 2 rounds in a row probably shows that maybe that's not going to suit them up against Darkseid.
Yeah, I definitely think that when they get onto a map that's going to favor the Sombra a little bit more, that probably will help them. Covino obviously has shown already the tendency to swap onto that character. Again, I'm not such a huge, massive fan of it on some of those control maps. I think that there's better options. The Tracer, obviously, but that was being picked up by Nox regardless, so barely worth mentioning. But when we do get onto something like Hollywood or Numbani, there is going to be a lot more room to maneuver for the Sombra, a lot more flanking routes, and you know, I think that it's going to work out a little bit better for them. Hopefully it is going to be, because I think that was really where SereNity got a lot of their advantages from last week, was the Sombra. The EMPs really seemed to be on point, but it's going to be a case of wait and see at this point.
Yeah, I guess, again, on the flip side for that is that when you've got a team like Darkside who are actually playing very well at the moment, they've seen those VODs, they've seen the games, they can come back. Maybe they have some strats to counter that Sombra. Obviously, they would expect it to come out. The map pool, you know, it's not huge. It's 2 maps per map type. So there's a fair bit that you can learn from what we've seen already. And I guess there's a fair bit you can also counter-strat from that. Yeah,
I also think that Darksided, or rather SereNity, is going to have to figure out a way to deal with the Darksided dive. Obviously, Darksided, they've kind of been running like a bit of a hybrid at this point, but once we get on to the next few maps, I expect we're going to be seeing Darksided again taking that dive composition. We'll probably see Turmo on the Genji, USMC either on Tracer or Sombra, and of course, we'll see Mooney and Punk on the Winston and the D.Va respectively. And that hasn't really been something that's been very fun for SereNity to go up against so far. I mean, they really had a lot of problems with it on control there. We saw Forbles getting picked off fairly frequently on the Zenyatta, so they need to kind of figure out how to keep him alive.
So, it's time for Hybrid Elfishguy. Which map will it be? Hollywood, your fave. This one actually is your fave.
No, Dorato's my fave.
Okay, well that doesn't count because that goes up against Junkertown, and Junkertown's my favorite. So you can't have it. Okay. Unless the teams pick it, of course. So, Darkside are going to kick this one off probably on defense. And we'll see how that Sombra comes out. Do you think Sombra less useful on attack here on Hollywood?
No, absolutely not. I think it's actually really, really impactful on Hollywood. Maybe not so much on the first point, but even then there are still avenues that you can utilize. I'm expecting to see a Sombra on both sides here actually. USMC did have a really good time on it last week. Like I've already mentioned, Cavino did look really good on it last week as well. So yeah, we've got the double Sombra set up, which I kind of feel like we are going to be sticking with for the majority of this map, which I'm glad to see. I actually don't mind watching the Sombra. I think, you know, it's quite an impactful hero to be playing and watching, and it's fun. A lot of mobility, playmaking ability as well.
It is fun to watch. Sombra is a fun hero to watch.
Yes.
I agree.
Not to play against, I will say that much, but we luckily are not playing. We are watching. So there we go.
We'll leave that up to our pro players here. SereNity out here on attack as we expected. Cavino going to try and come around and potentially hack that pack. Not for now. Don't need it. Easy life.
Wants the hack onto the soldier here. Turmo. That one does go across. So let's see what Cavino can do. Nox, in fact, is the one that can do at the moment. He's got that can-do attitude, and that is forcing Darksided back right now. They lose a couple of key players, and this is going to be some free charge for Cavino there as he just pops in, gets a couple of shots off onto the Winston. 75% already onto the EMP, up to 90% already. As I say that, as I'm talking, he just charges it all the way up to full, and SereNity doing a very good job of winning this fight right now. The dive composition working out really nicely for them. Nox getting those first couple of picks, obviously backed up by Arceus and Mini. And it was easy pickings for SereNity. First point.
It certainly was. I was about to say, oh, maybe this could not have gone any better for SereNity here. And then I saw that the Darksided players were coming back on. I'm like, oh, maybe that's less ideal. But the reality was, it wasn't hard to take them out. And that's free ult charge all across the way for a maybe 10 seconds traded. So I'm sure they'll probably be happy to take that one out. We can see a battle up here on top very, very early here. That EMP does come out. Don't think it hit all that many people though.
No, I'm not so sure about that for Cavino. A little unfortunate. Not managing to get the full usage out of the EMP, and Darksided. They utilized only the Valkyrie in that one. SereNity not going to be too pleased with that.
Going to push them back for now. This isn't actually too bad from Darksided at all. 3 ults apiece, ready to go. Molotov almost ready as well with that Transcendent. We'll probably see a push coming out here with a sound barrier or something like that, assuming they'd like to think that that EMP is now down. It's a little bit safe to use. Just would love to try and pick up one of these tanks. You can see from behind,
there's the UMC.
There was a Sombra.
Yeah, the EMP comes out from USMC. Their graphics, 3 kills with the self-destruct and the D-Mech as well. So that's excellent usage out of that one. No shields available there for SereNity, apparently. Good combo between USMC and, of course, graphics. So, well, I mean, what do you really have to say about that? Not a whole lot. SereNity just gets absolutely wiped.
Certainly did. That was very nice coming out from graphics. Love a fun self-destruct, to be perfectly honest.
And I should mention as well, graphics actually not the core of tank here. for Darksided. So coming into the roster as a sub, working out nicely for Darksided nonetheless.
Still managing to hold off this point. You can hear a self-destruct coming out the other way. Graphics decides to dive all the way in. Turmo's gone down, and Forble's been picked up. So that's one less support here for SereNity. Going to try and fight this one out now on the top. Graphics hopefully gets supported from behind. Maybe be able to pick up one or two. You saw that Discord on the Genji as well, but it doesn't matter. Molotov goes down, and now Graphics has been demeched.
Yeah, Graphics in really deep there with no one else really to back him up. Mooney has come in with the Primal Rage, and oh dear, Turmo just absolutely demolishes Nox, saving his mercies. Wilco, though, eventually did go down to Mini, but still, that's a good pick for Turmo. Could avert disaster right now for Darksided, as that Dragon Blade might have been it for SereNity. Now the hack comes across onto Mini. That was USMC's EMP. Graphics once again following up on those EMPs with perfect self-destructs.
Yeah, that's a pretty fun combo as well, and has worked out now twice here for Darksided. We saw SereNity drop both the sound barrier and the transcendence there coming into that fight, and the result was not what they wanted. So slowing down really considerably here, trying to get around this first point. And we've seen this a couple of times now here in Australian Contenders, Jordan, and that
Vino's got the EMP.
They get the first point, struggle after that.
Here it comes, and there it is. Molotov, very, very low on HP, losing all of those shields, but they're not interested in him. They're interested in everybody else. Wilco and Turmo down. The combo has dropped for Darksided. Surely a couple more to follow. Cavino is being chased by Mooney, but that is unfortunate for Mooney. Going to be putting him in the middle of a SereNity team. That's a wipe in the favor of SereNity. A really good EMP out for Cavino does result in a wipe for them, but it's still not going to be enough for them to get through into this second point. They'll need a few more fights.
No, they've literally only won one fight in this second portion here on Hollywood. So
the thing is, though, now they have that high ground.
They do, and they're going to be able to get a bit of distance here. Let's see if they can actually win a fight. Maybe Darksided is going to be able to come out with something. We can see a couple of their ultis coming out, and USMC almost ready to go with that EMP.
Well, SereNity just needs to sort of stall off for a little bit here so that they can get some ultis up. It looks like it's not going to happen as Darksided have decided to engage the fight. Turmo with already a kill and a demech. Really need to get too much more done here as SereNity falling apart at the seams.
Yeah, the Transcendence does come out, I guess, trying to help Mini push through.
I don't think it was a good idea.
I don't really see the benefit here. I'm sure someone can tell me why, but I just don't get it. So that's one less ult they've got to use, and now only 1 minute on the clock. They're going to have to play this smartly.
Well, Cavino's EMP will be coming up shortly. That was, again, the critical component of their last team fight win, so potential is there once more for them at 92% here. Just needs to look to build up a little bit. Gets around the back of Molotov. The hack comes across. EMP is now up, but Cavino gets picked. Good work from Molotov.
Work.
That might be enough for Darksided to hold onto this already. Arceus able to get one for SereNity, but that's not going to be anywhere near enough. Nox is still dancing around in the back line. He's discorded and quickly dispatched of. Well, at least SereNity... Wait, what happened? Cavino must have used his EMP there?
Didn't work.
And then he died?
Yeah.
Oh,
whatever happened,
really
it wasn't
bad
good,
news
mate.
here for SereNity.
They've got 19 seconds here. They're going to have to try and fight this one more time. You can see Molotov's ready with the Transcendence. Maybe SereNity can stack some multis here to push this through.
Well, they've got a lot.
They do. They don't have the high ground for now. They're going to try and come around the back. Maybe they can split Darksided up, but one would like to think that they will collapse onto the point. There we go.
Oh,
Dragon Blade. Oh, the hack comes out.
He doesn't even get the first kill anyway, so there was no reset available for him. But if he would have, it wouldn't have mattered. That was an excellent hack out from USMC. A single little part of that team fight probably wins it there for Darksided. It's just the little things that they do better than SereNity. As I say that, though, doesn't necessarily matter because SereNity still seeming to find a way to find some picks. Not as many ultimates utilized there by Darksided as they could have.
They get a little bit more time here, Jordan.
A little bit.
A little bit. All right. Genji's gone. Trace is here. And we'll see how far they can push. Cavino pushing very far forward. Once again, would love to grab that EMP charge, and almost at 100% once again here, Jordan. Playing this very smartly. Hopefully, this EMP will have more impact than the last one. We saw Forbles almost goes down, brings out this Transcendence. This one maybe a little bit more useful, keeping the team alive, pushing forward. Self-destruct comes out. Need to get out of dodge there. No one picked up by the looks of things, but Graphics does go down.
Corvals is probably going to survive here. It was a decent ultimate out from him. Turmo does get hacked up there. Cavino, another EMP out from him. Can SereNity utilize this to continue the payload push forward? It seems like they are able to. As Turmo does go down, the D.Va D-Mech did come into effect as well. Darksided going to have to fall back.
Yeah, not much ultimates going on here for Darksided as well. Just USMC and Molotov, should I say. Not long left on the clock though, Jordan, so maybe if they can just swing this one fight, that might be enough with the trickle to force out SereNity here. Yeah, but what does SereNity have to contest with self-destruct? Aside from that, not a whole lot to talk about. Arceus is going to pop it off here. That will split the forces of Darksided, but no kill resulted from it. And Darksided definitely winning the fight right now. Nox gets a pulse bomb off, but is hacked and won't be able to contest the overtime. Excellent work again from USMC. Darksided do hold off. SereNity can't fully complete the map. No, and up against Darksided, that is potentially a recipe for disaster here. So they're going to pick up 2. The thing is, it would have been 1, Jordan, if SereNity hadn't been so quick on that first point. If you're Darksided, you go, what was that? You can't afford to do that against a team that's better than you. You definitely can't afford to do that against a team that theoretically you should be able to beat. But look, that's what happened. We have seen that first point of Hollywood be quite tough to hold on to against these dive comps. So, yeah, look, obviously it wasn't ideal for Darksided, but that's not really the most difficult part of the map to push through. It's definitely been the streets phase where we've seen a lot of teams struggling. That elevation, the high ground, is a real problem for the attackers at times. Anyway, Darksided is going to be moving on to the attack now. So we'll see what they do decide to roll out with here. Turmo and USMC, Genji and Sombra respectively. Can definitely expect to see both of those coming out. SereNity again have gone for the Roadhog Orisa Junkrat combo. Yeah, we've seen a little bit of this so far, and it's worked out okay. Junkrat, if Junkrat can get a fair bit of damage early on, get that Riptire out, buy them some time. Always very, very handy. It's really just a matter of even how quickly can you dive, can you pick the Junkrat up, are you going to get caught out? We saw a number of teams brawl early on the dive and just not get the picks they needed to. And by that time, it's too late. The Junkrat's done too much damage, everyone's on low HP, and one by one you do get picked up. So you don't want that. Yeah, looks like it's probably just going to be the good old dive comp out from Darksided. Let's see what they do decide to go for. Swilko looking for an early pick, but there's not going to be anyone there. So swaps off to the Lucio, and indeed it will be dive for Darksided up against this Junkrat. Spamming away those bombs. As of yet, not connecting too much. We see USMC go flitting through past that choke point. Now he's going to start working the back lines. Mooney will join him. I like to see actually that SereNity's quite a way forward here as well. So good opportunity to fight this one out nice and close and not let them in too far. You'll see they'll force their way through now, however. USMC trying to take down Mini, but so far it is not going to happen. And Darksided is getting picked up one by one. Turmo's already got down. There goes the tank. USMC wasn't able to get those hacks off. I think if he would have got the hacks off, maybe that could have been the difference. But a fairly good hold there from SereNity. As soon as Darksided lose the first pick, you can kind of expect it is going to be going that way with the dive comp. You want to be the one getting the first pick. Certainly do. Cavino nice charge for almost ready. Yeah, Cavino almost ready with a Riptire. You'll see Fluor Ash there as well. Coalescence about to come up, or is now ready to come up. So that might slow down this next push as well from Darksided. We'll see what they can bait out here, what they can do. Maybe they'll be able to pick it up, but that's not going to help. Yeah, that is a good hook from Arceus. Doesn't actually really result in much, as Graphics is still in that mech and getting healed up right now by Molotov and Swilko, both of whom are getting very close to their support ultis. Molotov does have Transcendence. Fire in the hole is out. Let's see what happens here from Cavino. This could be big, or it could be nothing. Turmo gets the kill onto Arceus, and the Riptire very, very ineffective right now for Darksided, so maybe that's going to be a bit of a problem. Turmo still trying to fight for this cafe. Mooney gets Mini, but the cap is starting to tick across. Yeah, they are getting the ticks here. SereNity lost a couple. Darksided took a fair bit of damage, but it looks like everyone's back at it now, so this will be good for them. They should be able to pick up the point. Arceus will go down here in just 1 second, and it will tick over to 100%. We take a look at the clock. They'll have 4 minutes and 18 seconds. So a little bit less than SereNity. And a pause comes out.
Yep, so that's okay. We'll talk about how Darksided right now have got 4 ultis available. They only used Molotov and Graphics in that first fight. Graphics got the self-destruct in a really nice position there on the cafe, or I suppose on the cafe door.
On the door, blocking right there. No, you can't come through.
Isolates everyone from getting into the point, because how else are you going to get there, really? No one's actually coming around from that side entrance, generally speaking. So that was a good ultimate from Graphics. And look, this is actually looking really good right now for Darksided, because they're coming into that second stage with a massive ultimate economy advantage. SereNity are going to have to do some pretty good stuff to hold off, which is exactly what Darksided did in that first push into the second stage from SereNity, where they didn't really utilize any sort of ultimate. They had, I think, the Valkyrie, and that was it. So that's essentially what SereNity is facing right now. They need to be able to do the exact same thing back to Darksided as what was done to them.
We saw a lot of good EMP play in the first half as well, that we saw some of those fights get swung the other way. This one, I feel almost that Transcendence coming out from Molotov is what really pushed them through, helped them fight through the Riptire as well. So 4 minutes on the clock as we swing through, and well, Graphics is going to pick up Cavino, so no really EMP so far.
Like, this is, you know, this is not even really like a full dive from Darksided. This is just Graphics and Mooney going forward. You still got the DPS that's back towards the cart there for Darksided, so that's actually, that's not good from SereNity.
And once again, we'll see just one support left with that payload pushing it through, slowly but surely, whilst the rest of the team push forward and do the damage. There's a battle up here on top, but I feel like Darksided had SereNity outnumbered there, and they're going to be forced back. Minnie's going to have to drop down, get healed up. Almost halfway through on this second stage. USMC, you can see, ready with that EMP. Perhaps a Translocator EMP bomb coming up here. Coalescence is pushed through.
Sound barrier as well. There we go. For SereNity, the EMP comes out for USMC. Again, good timing from him. Is it going to be enough here, though, for Darksided? Turbo needs to get involved with the Dragon Blade, but he has been hacked. Finally comes unhacked, but I don't know if he's going to need the Dragon Blade at this point. It does seem like the fight is leaning towards Darksided anyway.
Certainly will. They got plenty of time. They're starting to come around this very last corner of the second portion of the map. They have that ultimate advantage. They're in good position. SereNity really feel like they're struggling here on defense up against the likes of Darksided. And Nox, well, we'll see what he can do here with his tac visor.
Cavino as well, flanking around the back right now on the Sombra. Does actually translocate back out, but up to 99%, so EMP is available for SereNity here. Nox under a lot of pressure. There's a big monkey chasing him. He's actually left him alone for now, has decided to find another target. Nox, he sees Turbo and says, oh, there's a very low HP Genji. I'll take that kill. That's
a free kill. Easy life, that's what I want. So, Darksided still going strong here on attack. Nox doing a pretty good job for now, though, to try and force them back. There's still a ton of time on the clock, and I'm feeling like still this is in their advantage here, Jordan. I think this is a good position. I think they've got enough time. They really just need to push this last corner.
Well, Tomo still has got his Dragon Blade. Graphics self-destruct. Those have been quite deadly so far for Darksided. Need to keep an eye on that one. SMC does get dropped relatively low there, so that's, you know, maybe a little bit more breathing room here for SereNity as they do try to retake the high ground. Not sure how well that is going to work out, and in fact, it doesn't work out at all. Turmo has got the Dragon Blade out, waiting, looking to find some kills again. Graphics finding some advantages off the back of the self-destruct, and Turmo gets two. USMC to follow up with that, two for himself as well. Darksided, excellent stuff. Capping out that second point, 2 minutes and 50 seconds to get to their final destination.
It almost looked like Turmo had launched that Dragon Blade a little bit too early, but picked up two, did the damage that he needed to do. And look at this, still pushing forward, going strong already, up to 50% on the Dragon Blade once again. Getting a ton of room, 2:30 on the clock, plenty of time to push through. They don't even need to get the whole way here.
I kind of almost feel like Arcades might have been able to run back into spawn and swap off and swap back on to get the mech back faster than he would have been able to run in there.
Well, we'll find out what was his ult percent at. There you go. See?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Would have lost that ult percent. That was the only thing to keep in mind, I suppose. And really wants that self-destruct here. Just potentially a good self-destruct buys him a ton of time, and here we go.
Is it going to be enough, though? Yeah, gets Molotov. Not too bad, actually, out there. Nox as well, following the back of that with a tactical visor. Graphics going down. Buy some more time here for SereNity. A minute 57. Darksided, is it time to start getting worried right now for them?
I think Darksider's in a good spot. I think SereNity's going to struggle here with this ult stack coming out from Darksider.
Well,
they really don't need to get it that far.
Yeah, but let's see what Covino can do with that EMP. That could be the be-all, end-all right now for SereNity, or maybe not, as both of their healers do go down. Covino does get the EMP across, in fact, but it's far too little too late. You just don't have any healers in your fight for SereNity. You cannot contest this one at all. They have Primal Rage on Mini, just trying to delay some more time. That's what they need right now. They need that stagger. They need the trickle to come across.
Pushing for a lot of this time, Jordan. You see it bit by bit going forward. Very, very close. 10 meters short now. Graphics here, ready to go with a self-destruct. Won't get a chance to use it.
Mini actually got 3 picks there in the back lines, which is really, really good work from him. USMC, though, comes in with the EMP. Still the contest, though, from SereNity. Darksider don't have enough numbers, really, to get in there and win that fight. So, 60 seconds left on the clock, while Darksider do, in a way, win that fight. SereNity did enough to stall them that they have to win at least one more.
Yeah, a Primal Rage and EMP making some differences across the board. Now Darksider are going to try and fight on this point. You hear the Transcendence come out, self-destruct as well. No one getting caught out for now. Oh. No! Wow, SereNity now in a great position by the looks of this, Jordan. This is huge.
They need to wipe now. They need to reset, and they have done just that. 30 seconds on the clock. They still have time for another push, but if you look at their ultimate percentages, they're absolutely nowhere near it. Covino coming up on an EMP. That might be the win for SereNity. If Covino gets off a half-decent EMP in this fight, that's going to be all over Red Rover. He's going for it, looking for it, gets it off as well. And SereNity, are they going to be able to come away with map number 2?
7 seconds on the clock. 2 people get picked up here for Darksider. Turmo goes down as well. SereNity looking so strong, but Darksider on the point. Primal Rage coming out on both sides. Mini doing absolute best here to try and keep these guys out. Darksider will be trying to trickle in, but they got so much further to go.
There's ultis coming up right now for Darksider. That's one of them. USMC with the EMP does connect that onto quite a lot of the SereNity players, but someone needs to touch the cart right now for Darksider. It's not going to happen. SereNity take away map number 2.
Wow.
What?
Wow. Wow. Congratulations, SereNity. That was some sick plays coming out there on defense. I honestly thought the Darksider should be able to push it all the way through to that point. So many things to talk about there, Jordan. For me, okay, firstly, let's appreciate this great double pulse bomb. Picking up a 3rd kill here. There's 4 kills. 4 kills for Nox.
Nice stuff from Nox.
Wow.
Excellent for SereNity as well. And really what it came down to in that final team fight was Darksider just didn't have their ultimates up in time. Like I said, you could see them coming up, but that was after Darksider had already lost the fight. They were trickling into the point. I thought USMC getting that EMP off might just be able to get them over the line, but there wasn't anyone to even really be able to contest that cut. They weren't able to continue the overtime, and so Darksider do fall. If they would have had another 10 seconds on the clock, they probably would have been able to contest that really well with some ultimates. It could have been a different result, but the simple fact of the matter was, it wasn't. It's SereNity's win.
And if you're going to find 10 seconds in that whole game, Jordan, I would have tried to find it on that very first point on defense for Darksider, which in the end just did not work out for them. So, we finally have our game on our hands. We are 1 apiece here between Darksider and SereNity. We are going to take a very quick break when we come back to the conclusion of this